What's up everyone, this is Keywielder Oblivion and I want to start a discussion topic dealing with reasons why RPGs or role-playing games are so fun and addicting. If you love RPGs and I didn't touch on a point on why they could be fun or addicting, feel free to leave a comment, and when I do another countdown video on this topic, I will include your reasons as well as shout you out and say who it was that inspired the number for this countdown. More than one reason will be accepted, but they must be very different from each other and very different from the ones I have in this video already. Okay, so this is going to be a top 3 countdown. Number 3 is the least reason, number 1 is the most reason, but all of them are very important to me. So let's get into the video, shall we? Number 3, emotional connections between characters and the player. I'm not sure how much you all will agree with me on this one, but hear me out. As we progress through the story as a character we now consider ourselves and have a deep connection to, it's inevitable that we ourselves feel exactly what our character feels. After all, this character is now me. That's how we should be thinking, right? Our character makes connections to other characters, and we in return start to feel like these connections have a purpose, a meaning. We now care what happens to our friends, or the friends of the character we're playing as, which is our friends now. And this is a big part of RPGs, also known as role-playing games. We assume the role of our character, and if our character's friend dies, that means our friend dies. If our friends are sad, we are sad, and if our friend goes into battle, we will follow and support. A great example of a game that executes this really well is Infamous 1 and 2, but let's focus on Infamous 2. We ended up having a falling out with our close friend due to choices we made earlier in the game, and it was so painful to hurt our friend until our path was no longer blocked, but we had to do it. That's all I'm willing to say about this game with no spoilers though. But you understand what I mean. We assumed the role as Cole, and we had a friend. We had memories with Zeke, and we felt what Cole was feeling. So that's what I mean by RPGs that execute this really well, and that's a big point in why RPGs are so fun and addicting. Point number 2 is being able to explore the world you are placed in. When I'm placed in a world, I want to have a well thought out and executed storyline, but at the same time I don't want all of my questions answered directly, so I expect to explore the world and find a reason of my existence in a sense. The idea of being in a living, breathing world where there are secrets and places to be explored excite me. Side quests are one of the main pieces that allows this to be a reality. Knowing that characters in the world also need help and carry their own stories, those of which are completely separate from the main story, or even better than that, branch off of the main story into long, well-organized side stories that will make you feel like it's the new main story, are things that I live for and expect from RPGs. I'm sure most of you expected me to use this example, which is Bloody Baron in The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. I'm not going to get into details due to spoilers. Let's switch things up with another example of an RPG that gets it right, which is Mass Effect 2. This game allowed us to explore the universe and aid our recruited comrades we found throughout the space and their own problems, and gain their trust so they can fight alongside us effectively for a greater cause with no wavering emotions. I guess it's only right to give an example of a game that tried to be an RPG but completely failed at it, and that game is Destiny. So I don't want to bully Destiny, but locking off portions of the map for later DLC ruined the entire experience of an idea of free exploration. It ruined that idea completely. Destiny was marketed to us as an RPG or something that had RPG elements, but when you try to make an RPG and you lock off the entire map and we cannot explore freely, we could only go into these areas with a strike or a raid, that's not making a true RPG. I don't know if you understand what I mean, but that's it for point number 2. Before we get into point number 1, I need you guys to understand that these 3 points are the main reasons of what make an RPG fun and exciting and addicting. So if you try to attempt to do any of these points but completely fail at it, or completely ignore these points, then you will have a subpar RPG, or something that people won't even consider an RPG, because I'm sure Destiny isn't considered an RPG anymore. But let's get into point number 1. Okay, so I'm excited for point number 1. As you know, this is a main point, or should be a main purpose of an RPG, and makes you feel like this is an RPG. But let's get into it. That's enough talking. Point number 1, character progression. Yes, I know, obviously, right? But let me explain what I mean. So character progression makes you feel like you are growing with the character. That is what I love about playing RPGs. The main focus is growing with the character and feeling like they actually did something. If done right, you can make your character feel unique also. Even though other people play as the same character, the choices you make to upgrade your character reflect who you are, and you see that in your character. Leveling up makes you feel like you accomplished a lot, and that can be rewarding in itself, but the new abilities or items you can use or get are just as satisfying. Let's not forget the presentation of you leveling up can be the difference between a great game and a not so great game. For example, leveling up in Kingdom Hearts 2, of course I was going to mention this game, was one of the greatest memories I've had of that game, not to mention of my childhood. The presentation was 100% on point, not to mention learning what new moves Sora could perform. One recent game that also did this well was The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. Thanks guys for watching. That's the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed these top 3 reasons why RPGs are so fun and addicting. Stay tuned for the end of the video. I'll have a clip showing you what my previous discussion video was, and also after this little outro I'm gonna include like a little bonus clip in talking about Destiny and why Destiny wasn't able to you know, hold up on point number 1. Okay, so anyone who's still here stuck around to hear this little point, and this is why Destiny wasn't able to hold up on the point number 1 on character progression. So let me get into it. The one game that didn't hold up on this well was Destiny, yes. First, let's get this straight. Destiny is not a true RPG and will never be, even though it tries so hard to be. But I must admit, the presentation of leveling up in the early version of the game was on point. I've never played the recent version, so I don't know how the leveling up was. I don't know if there was really a presentation on leveling up, and I don't know how much it has changed. However, the reason leveling up was never done right was the fact that you never got anything significant for it. You just leveled up to allow you to participate in raids or higher level events like strikes and stuff with your teammates, and that's where you got your good loot and stuff. That's how Destiny did itself right, because it did raids and strikes good, but it didn't do the leveling up portion well, because you did not get an actual reward or satisfaction of actually leveling up. You just grinded for no reason to be able to participate in the actual part of the game that was fun. That's what I have to say about Destiny. I liked it when it first came out. I hate that all the stuff that happened in it, but you know, I don't want to bully it too much, so whatever. Hey, this is Keywielder Oblivion, and I'm gonna have a different video. I want to talk about what we know about the 4 guys that the main guys that we'll be playing as in Final Fantasy 15. What we already know.